Uh, Good morning, everybody. I would like to present myself. Firstly, thank you for coming to our side events. I am El Iklil Sami. I'm a program manager at the Seas and Ocean program at the Mohammed VI Foundation for Environmental Protection. It's a Moroccan NGO shared by Her Royal Highness Princess Lalla Hasna, which is also involved in Ocean Decade by being a sponsor, and that foundation is also a membership. So without waiting, our subject today is entitled, like you see, is towards circular economy for sustainable management of plastic waste on beach and ocean ecosystem. We're gonna try to highlight the modus operandi and the shame set by the foundation to in its intervention on beaches. So the Clean Beach program, it's the oldest program of the foundation. We have about 20 years of experience. The idea behind this program is to involve all actors and stakeholders involved in beach management in order to raise awareness from a side, and secondly, to have a good level of these beaches of the kingdom. So I will start my presentation by giving an overview about the foundation and its mission. The first mission of the foundation is to promote the protection of environments and the improvement of living environments. We have also the idea is to promote the right to education, a healthy environment, and sustainable development, and to be aware and to prepare future generation to assert their responsibility. We have many programs. We have the coastal preservation, which include the Clean Beaches and the Lalla Hasna Sustainable Coastline Award, which is a competition to reward the best practices for the ocean and for the beaches. We have also the Blue Label flag that I think that which is it's a flag that is a reward implemented in about 47 countries in the world, and other components of the program, like the education, environmental education, which is initiated with the Ministry of Education, sustainable tourism, where I said the blue flag, and some programs are related to air quality and restoring the historic garden. Yeah. So I would like to also share that the plastic issue is being so important that recently in March 2021, 175 states have agreed to develop a legally binding instrument to combat plastic pollution. The title of this item is "Ending Plastic Pollution Toward an International Legally Binding Instrument," where the foundation also took part to this assembly, and we have also the honor to that Morocco Kingdom will share the presidency of UNIA 6.2. So, about the Clean Beach program, so the 100 beach cap included in the program have been reached. So after 20 years, the Clean Beach program passes this 100 beaches cap with 75 public and private company who sponsored these beaches, and 63 municipalities who are in charge of the management. So beside the environmental issue that is occurred on the beaches, we have to say that the intervention of the foundation include also the importance of economic aspects that all these businesses provide. So we can talk about the seaside tourism. I will share with you some numbers that show the importance of this sector. That seaside tourism, yachting and water sport provide jobs of an economic spin-off. The tourism sector now employ between 1 in 11 people worldwide in seaside tourism, and according to estimates, the overall yachting and water recreation market is expected to reach 3 billion by 2022 with a growth of 3.8. So why the foundation is intervening also in this area? We take into consideration that the tourism model of many destinations is based on the sound of the explosion of mass tourism. So this model of mass tourism include a lot of aspect issue where the foundation try to intervene. We can say, for example, the governance. The governance is linked to the intervention of a multitude actor into this area of the beaches. So the foundation have to federate them, to organize, to monitor, and to try to work toward one target. There is also human activity on territory. We can say that there is an impact, as you know, the impact on environment, on space, and likely to cause degradation. And another aspect that could be aborted by my colleague later, it's the precarious characterizing the traditional model compared to ICT. That new technology are not so included in the model of this tourism. We are talking right now about the smart tourism that is emerging. So how the modus operandi, I will show you the actual maps, how the foundation is working. So we have the foundation on the middle, so it initiates, facilitates, and coordinates projects. We have a national committee constituted by institutional partner. We have the Minister of Interior, Ministry of Health, of Tourism, etc. We have also involved civil society. So the role of this civil society is to support the municipality and economic partners in implementation of awareness raising action. We have about 300 local associations and the federation. Private sector, so the private sector, we have a convention with 27 private sector. They aims to give technical and financial support under a partnership agreement. We have also local authority that are institutional parts who are in charge of the management of the beach. We include in our program 63 coastal towns, and a local committee is kind of responsible, the representative in the region, in the different region, who are in charge of regular monitoring and implementation of the different action. Beside this, we have the blue flag, as I say, it's a rigorous international level that's not only require excellent bathing room, but also looks after the safety of the beach and backshore development and environmental awareness. It is implemented in 47 countries and coordinated at the international level by the Foundation of Environmental Education. So this year we had about 28 beaches that took the label. The other program that I talk about is the Lala Hasna Coastline Sustainable Coastline Award. It's a competition that reward the best practices for the ocean and for the coastline, and it's declined in 5 categories in order to give the opportunity to different stakeholders from private sector, civil society, academics, and the different nature of projects to be involved. We have the Clean Beach Program, Sharing and Living Environment Award, Protection and Enhancement of Natural Heritage, Education and Youth, and Social Environmental Responsibility of Organization. So, when we're talking about ocean, I would like to highlight an overview of the evolution of the scope of intervention of the foundation that started in 1999. Between 1999 and 2014, the foundation was acting on beaches, specifically on beaches, through the program Clean Beaches and the Blue Flag. After 2014 until 2020, We launched the Lala Hasna Coastline Sustainable Coastline Award, which involved not only the space of the beaches, but include all the aspects linked to the coastline. So we launched also the Seas Without Plastic operation that will develop later. And between 2020 and until we hope 2030, the foundation was involved with the IUC of UNESCO in the Ocean Decade. So in this sense, the foundation have shared and participation in different activity related to the development of the roadmap of this decade. And we had the honor that His Royal Highness Princess Lala Hasna was one of the members of the sponsor of this decade of Ocean Decade that we try to contribute as we can. So on the ground and concretely, the main operation that is engaged in the Clean Beach program, it Seas Without Plastic operation. It's an operation that is occurring every summer period between 15 June until 15 September, that involves civil society, economic partners, institutional partners, and academics also. And the role of the foundation is try to have a roadmap and tools and the coordination between all this actors toward the same objective in order to achieve them. So briefly, the main challenges that we are targeting in each operation, I will give, for example, the first edition of the operation that started in 2019. We had the first target is to have 1 million youth people to mobilize during the summer period around activities related to education, sustainable development awareness, to initiate at least 10,000 action with youth, and to release at least 10 tons of plastic waste from the beaches. So we made some tools of monitoring to our different partners. We had a meeting with them, giving them all the tools, all the roadmap, all the target, the way they have to work through. And at the end of the summer period, we are trying to have all these KPI in order to see the results. For example, in 2019, we reached 1.4 million youth that were mobilized. We initiated also about 49,000 action that was carried jointly for the benefit of holiday maker and awareness raising. And we had we collected about, when I say we collected, it's not the foundation, it's all the stakeholders that are involved, about 486 tons of plastic. So if we divide this quantity of plastic on the 70 beaches that are included in the program, we have reduced about 8 tons of plastic waste per beach. So in 2021, we had raised a little bit the different challenges. We have 1 million, sorry, it's false. It's to reach at least 2 million youth, to initiate at least 40,000 action, and to release at least 10 tons of plastic per beach. And at the end of the target, you're gonna notice that we add a new challenge. It's related to our item, is the recycling of this plastic. So we noticed that in the first operation, we collected a huge amount of plastic that was not implanted in the recycling process. So this is some KPI relating to the second edition. 521 metric ton of plastic collected, 61,000 of action, and the mobilization of about 1.8 million of youth. And finally, we try to include and to implement this culture of recycling among our partners. We reached about 38% of the plastic that was collected was implemented in the recycling process. To achieve that, the foundation rallied its partner who are working on the ground with a coalition of corporations that are working on the recycling of the plastic. So we make them in contact with 9 private companies for recycling, 8 associations from civil society, and some 3 cooperatives. So they were in charge of collecting all the plastic, making the tree, and implementing them into the process. Here is just some graphic that show the evolution of the different KPI between the first edition and the second edition. We noticed that there is a culture that is more implemented among our community. There is more engagement about the issue between the 2 editions. Beside that, and we make some activities with the Ministry of Education in order to involve youth. That I would like, I have the honor also to share, to have with us a youth that is so active in these activities. These are activities that have as objective to involve youth about the issue of plastic pollution in the ocean. So we organize some activities in different territories in Morocco, including professional diver and students from different programs of the foundation. We can say Eco School and the youth reporter for environment and some professional diver. The idea is to allow the children to see in reality what is the issue of plastic in ocean after the intervention of this diver. So finally, to resume the modus operandi of this operation, so the foundation had come to the conclusion that there is a need for collective action. So there is 3 axes to this operation. Firstly, we have to be better synchronized. We mean by that the foundation have to define the priority targets for its partner, have common and concerted objective, and have the same key message to spread among its community. The second part is have a better coordination. We have defined the different KPI that I present to you, common indicator, agreed an assessment to have all the results of this KPI, have an action plan and timeable during this period. And the last one was the axis related to the better equipped. You know, as you know, the different stakeholders and corporations are not professional concerning this plastic issue. So the foundation have to offer them some tools, some shared resource, some kind of action they could initiate. So briefly, this is the modus operandi of this foundation. If you have any question, we are able, and would like to thank you for attention. I would present my colleague Sharif Khalil, who is a researcher in oceanography in OGS, Institute of Oceanography and Geophysics. We're going to highlight some research related to the using of the data in order to make to help the decision maker about the issue. The floor is yours.
Hello. First of all, thank you. So thank you, Sami, for giving me the floor. First of all, I would like to thank Foundation Mohammed VI for the invitation. So Foundation Mohammed VI for protection of environment from the country where I am from. It's an honor for me today to be here to talk as a Moroccan after years outside of Morocco as a researcher. So my name is Al-Khalil Sharif, so I'm a senior researcher at Institute for System and Robotic. And recently I joined, so ISR in Lisbon, Portugal. And recently I joined OGS 2 months ago as also a senior researcher at Trieste, Italy. So my background is from remote sensing, monitoring the coastal water, also blue economy for environmental diplomacy. So I mix between blah, 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 which is blue economy, strategies, policies, and the base was technical. So my PhD was about environment, remote sensing. So my research interest is climate change. So monitoring coastal water, and also blue economy. So if you did a small research, my articles is not yet about blue economy, it's about just using remote sensing. But I'm right now, my focus point is, or research is, I would like to work about blue economy, and here my contacts. If you would like to open a collaboration, please write to me. So, as you see here, so plastics is harmful for marine environments. That's provided or proved by researchers, scientists years ago. I cannot say more than that. But looking at this plot or graph, we can see that the production of plastic waste is increasing. And in 2020, it's reached 367 million tons estimated or generated globally, which means that we have an increase, plastic waste increasing with time, is increasing also with climate change. So this is a question comes to my brain. The first time when I see this plot, why we still have this number increasing by time if we already have many strategies, many approaches to stop the plastic waste? The surprise with this number, that 10% of these 367 million tons reach the coastal water, which is the marine environment. We find that even a depth of 100 meters during the COVID pandemic with a mask, imagine. So this can damage in marine life and cost almost $1,800 million in the environmental and economic externalities. So we are polluting the marine environment, but also we are losing in the economic point of view, which this plastic waste comes from the economy, which is human activity. So this idea that we are losing in the economical point of view, we are damaging the environment, it's a conclusion. But still, more than that, we have a very strong link between climate change and plastic pollution. So plastic contributes to the CO2 emissions through its life cycle of the plastic. Also, climate change and the plastic pollution could occur throughout the environment. Also, climate change will exacerbate the spread of plastic pollution, and also climate change and plastic waste are both in the same cycle if we want to solve or monitor or help the environment. So today we are in the COP27, we are talking about climate change, but also we don't need to forget about plastic waste, because it polluted the marine environment, and also it makes us losing a lot about economical part, and also is damaging about environment. So we need immediate action. We need the strategies, we need the approach in different ways, from university, from political point of view, from research, from human resources, from all parts of our life. So here it appears circular economy as a new approach, which basically discussing the production and the consumption of plastic in general. Is an approach or model that usually is based on reform, reduce, and reuse. So this is an approach that make the private sector thinking that also you can make a business, but also you can also help environment without producing plastic that's really harmful for my environment. It's an approach that can integrate university and research area to provide solutions. It's an approach that's also inviting decision makers to sit in table within all the researchers, all the other parts to think about how can we stop producing the plastic waste. But it has some limitation. One of the limitation is data. So here where I intervene as a researcher. So data is important for circular economy. Is one tool to make you decide if you are one of the decision makers, because decision makers basically sometimes they don't have a clear idea, but they need a help. They need a consultant from research or researchers or a university. That's one of the gaps that we are suffering from before. So data is important. Data is a diagnostic tool that helps researchers that are combating these plastic waste. Also, that's providing services. It's also helping decision makers. It helps population. It's also a tool for prevention, for planning, which one of the parts of the circular economy approach. So, in our institute, we are using two kinds of data sets. So the first one is remote sensing, basically based on satellite images. And the second one is using UAV. So both these two kinds of data are helping us to observe, monitor, and preserve environment, but are different. For remote sensing data, can give us the idea regional scale, but with a weak resolution. With other, it can be with a low temperature resolution. But UAV, it's also with a good resolution, high resolution, but it's too expensive. So both kind of data, we are combining them in order to work in our project, which is Astridge. It's a Portuguese project where university and other private sectors and other partners working together in order to provide the services to monitor marine environment. We are monitoring hydrocarbons. We are monitoring algal blooms. We are monitoring quality of the beaches. We are monitoring, but one of the targets in this project is plastic. So basically, this is like ongoing methodology that we are developing where we are trying to predict models or make models for the prevention of plastic in the Portuguese coastal water. So basically you can start reading this plot from the field sampling. So field sampling here provide us in situ measurement, and in situ measurement can be done using traditional methods, or also we are using robots underwater or in the surface. We are working more deeply than the microplastic, which is something challenging today. We are comparing these in situ measurements with other parameters that can we conclude from satellite images that can helps us idea how can this plastic move with the wind, with temperature, with other parameters. Then we use the satellite images or we use UAV images to work with some developed method, already developed by other researchers, to see how can we get a robotic image, daily image, to help decision makers. Then if the result is not okay, we try to recalibrate these models by developing a new algorithms, a new models with our data, and finally to come to the point to use machine learning for the prediction of plastic in the Portuguese coast. It's very technical, no? Yeah, but this is a part that really can be next to what my colleagues say, Sami, which is a strategy, maybe Foundation Mohammed VI is one of the institutes that work with the policy, provide strategies, but it's far away from technical. But one of the problems that we didn't reach to minimize the plastic waste is the gap between technical, science, engineering, and policy. So we need to remove the gap in order that we really come to the point that we minimize the waste, plastic waste. Imagine in 10 years later, we will suffer from more climate change impacts. But maybe because the plastic that you use, and we spend time to do monitoring and writing articles, but nobody read about it. Nobody read our articles. Nobody read what we come to the point. Even policymakers, when they ask us sometimes about our result, they say, don't tell me it's polluted. Say it's vulnerable, which is the same. We have a concentration, it's polluted. No, say it's vulnerable because I will have a bad problem with the private sector that is already working there. So this actually my work where I'm trying to help this world from my small window of my small computer at my office in Lisboa, and I hope I can come to some good results. And I bring you here some recommendation with some blah, blah, blah all times. It's nice to have some blah, blah in the last slide. So we need really to minimize the gap. I'm saying again, the good recipe to minimize the plastic waste, we need to minimize the gap between science, engineering, policy researchers, practical experience. We need to be one hand if we want to stop the impact of plastic waste on our marine environment. We need also to move to the preventive actions. We need to stop talking. We need to just everyone today has a phone with new technology, but there is models today that can give you idea what will happen in 2 or 3 years. We need to move to these preventive actions. Also, we need to include them in education system. And then we need to push the policymakers to believe in that, to implement that. As the title of the COP, let's do it, okay? So, and we need to build a stronger and more resilient industry and society where plastic inputs and consumption are reduced. We need really to sit with the private sector, because sometimes I have a feeling that private sectors are just listening, you know. When they came to the COP, they just listened to you. Okay, environment, nice, but he is all the time thinking about the income of the industry. If I stop producing plastic waste, because there is a law tell me that I need to stop plastic waste, but I will need to stop production, it's like less money. We need really to convince private sector that we need to produce exactly what we need, not more than we need. And finally, we need to move toward a sustainable and circular plastic economy requires a holistic approach and changes. We need to be changed at each stage of the plastic value chain. This will involve players from different, all size, from the public to private sector, from the youths, which really is only the solution. We need to invest in youth, because the generation is youth. The generation is the people that are now at school from 5 years to 6 to 7, because they will be the leaders in the future. So thank you very much. So, and if you have any question, I'm here to answer. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Khalil, for this interesting presentation, which I note the importance of the using data in order to have some solution to this issue. I noted also the mention that you mentioned about reducing the gap, and I would like to say that is one of the main axes of intervention of the foundation is try to federate all the stakeholders For example, when you say about the private sector that not reading the scientific article, I think the problem over there is this is why in the ocean decade there is a discipline that is initiated. It's social literacy. It's how to introduce all these concepts and all these items to different profiles so that the message could be understood on the good way. And this is one of the axes of the foundation. We try to integrate it firstly in schools with a cooperation with Ministry of Education, and also to have building capacity for private sector and for academics. And by doing that and considering our scope of intervention, we're trying to reach to reduce this gap. And a concrete example that we have a youth with us that participate in different activities of the foundation, included the Ocean Seas Without Plastic operation, and she is also an activist concerning climate change, which is a member of the African Youth Climate Hub, that I will leave her the floor to expose you more. Have fun,
Thank you so much. Is this working? Okay. Hi everyone, my name is Manal. I'm 19, I'm from Morocco. I just wanted to say first some appreciation for you and you. Your presentations were great, and I feel sort of some pressure to top up all the technical details. But I will be starting by my personal story and then transition into how the African Youth Climate Hub, how Ocean Without Plastic Initiative, and how the foundation helped me, and how in general a framework or foundations like the Foundation Mohammed VI in Morocco help young people to enhance their activism. So I'm 19, my activism started at 13. As much as I don't like to say this, but it started by accident. I discovered climate change when I was asked to do a research about any environmental topic. Everyone was like, let's do pollution. And I was like, no, I need to be special. I need to do something nobody else knows, nobody else heard about. And that was climate change. Because unfortunately, at least at the time in which I was a student, climate change was not included in the curriculum. And so when I researched climate change, my reaction was not exactly very good. I was very frustrated. I was angry. I mean, I'm still frustrated. I'm still angry. I was very anxious. The whole climate change discovery was just an experience that sort of changed my life, because I wouldn't be sitting here if I didn't discover climate change at that time. And so what happened was, after I discovered, the two things that frustrated me the most about climate change were, one, it is young people and the future generations that are going to assume all the impacts of climate change. It is the young people who will assume all the decisions, all the speeches, everything that is going there, that is going here at COP and in conferences like this. We are going to assume all the consequences of all of this, because we're inheriting a planetary crisis, a planet that is dying of climate change. And then the second fact, which frustrated me, was that even though young people are impacted, they will be impacted, they are the leaders of tomorrow. Even with all of this, we're still not included in negotiations. I mean, I'm glad COP27 this year is like sort of, we have the first ever Children and Youth Pavilion. We have a lot of youth engagement, but still, we do need places in the seats where decisions are made about our planet. And so I was very frustrated and angry about all of this. And with this frustration, I just felt this sense of powerlessness. You know, I knew about climate change. I was aware of the impacts. I was aware of what is going on, but I didn't know what to do. I was like, my planet is dying. My future is getting taken away from me. What can I do? I am 13 years old. I'm a student. I am a middle class person. I don't have enough resources. I just felt very powerless because I didn't know what to do. And I feel like this is something that I'm not the only one to feel, but a lot of people around the world, they know about climate change, they're aware, but they just don't know what to do. And so the simplest thing I could think of was to start an environmental club in my school. And that was very hard, actually, because, well, in my school, climate change is not really a priority. A priority would be gender equality, homelessness, you know, all the mainstream topics that have more popularity than climate change. And so the process of creating a club in my school was already hard. And in that club, we decided to do strikes for climate. So if you know Greta Thunberg, you might already have an idea of what that looks like. But we also added a component because we didn't only want to speak, but we wanted to do something. And what we did was to go to the beach. Well, we shouted climate justice, climate justice. When we ended, we went to the beach, and then we collected all the plastic that was, well, not all the plastic, but a significant portion of the plastic that was there. And then we recycled what we could, and then the rest we just threw it in the garbage. But at least we did something, which was to sort of make of ourselves an example for everyone else. But then that strike itself, as much as I like to say that it was very impactful and everything, it was not really, it had a lot of potential, but it could have been better. And that's how I found the Foundation Muhammad VI for the protection of the environment. Because with the foundation, I think what's missing right now is really the support. Because when I got the support of the Muhammad VI Foundation, for example, through the African Youth Climate Hub and through Oceans, Habla Plastic, which is Oceans Without Plastic, I was able, they provided me and other young people from Morocco with the knowledge, the skills, the resources, financial resources, and as well like t-shirts and caskets as Oceans Without Plastic. That was cool. So they provided us with a lot of resources. And I think that's really missing because a lot of young people are really trying to do their own thing, but they're not supported. And I'm not talking only about funds, but also about knowledge and about skills. You know, we all have access to Google, but at the end of the day, you don't know if what's in Google is true or not. You don't know if, actually, in a lot of countries, Google is not even available, it's censored. And so the means of getting resources and knowing about climate change or pollution or plastic or all the data that you were showing is actually sort of really hard to do. And you don't know if the data is true or not. And sometimes the data is not available in your language. Sometimes it's in English. Sometimes it's in French. And if you speak an indigenous language, it's very hard to have access to that. But then with the foundation, I got access to all of that. They gave me, as I said, access to resources, knowledge, skills. And that through two experiences. The first one is the African Youth Climate Hub, and the second one is Oceans Without Plastic. And the third one, actually there's three, and the third one was Young Reporters for the Environment. And so I would love to invite you all to follow all of these three initiatives. I mean, Sami did a great job in introducing them, but I would invite you to follow them as well because they're still doing an amazing job. And I do invite you as well to sort of look into how this such experiences could be sort of replicated in your own countries or your own context. Because again, what we need as young people is support. We need resources. We need communication. And yeah, one more aspect that I forgot to mention about the foundation as well is the fact that it enables, it facilitates the dialogue between stakeholders. So you see, I think what's missing again, apart from the resources and the support, is also communication. Here at COP, you have, well, not just at COP, in climate action in general, you have young people, you have the private sector, you have amazing researchers here, you have the foundation, you have the civil society, you have all of these parties that care about climate change. But then at the end of the day, everyone is doing their own thing everyone's doing their own thing in different places, and nobody's in the same page. I mean, climate world leaders, the negotiators, the politicians don't even know what we're doing as young people. We also don't know what they're doing. There's no communication between us. And I would love to appreciate what the foundation is doing in terms of facilitating this communication between the stakeholders, as Sami said. And I do hope that COP this year would bring much more communication, resources, and much more mobilization for young people. And with that, I just wanted to end with, we are inheriting a world in crisis. But still, this is our planet. It is our future. It is our dreams. It is our everything. And we're not just going to stand behind waiting for resources or support or anything. We're going to stand by. We're going to do everything we can because at the end of the day, it's not just, we have a lot of stake. It's our life. It's our planet. It's everything. So thank you.
Really, like, just let me just at this point, like, what Manar said, like, it's really a very nice to see an example of youth from my country, like, talking about climate change. When I was in her age, I was really not able to be participating or thinking like that. So I congratulate Foundation for this example, and I think it is exactly the idea of investing in youth that can really be ready in the future. And let's say that about youth, there is today the first time in the COP we have youth COP envoy, which is Omni Al Amrani, so which is in the negotiation part. So I think that also it's one thing makes people that works in this field is happy. So I hope that the voice of youth or researchers or stakeholders or private sectors come to the same point that we need really to preserve environments. I'm not really. I can't say that we are in a safe situation. As the research said, we will be more than 1.5 degrees Celsius. I'm sure about it. So, but what can we do is just with youth we can stop it. So that's the only things. Yeah.
Thank you so much. This actually reminded me that because I saw some young people here, and so I just wanted to say that being a young person and also being an activist has not always been easy for me. I mean, the easiest parts were thanks to the foundation and the support that I've got. I mean, I'm with them today, actually. I'm here thanks to them. But I just wanted to say that we as young people, we have a lot of challenges. I mean, apart from the communication and the resources, we have age discrimination. I mean, I've received this a lot as an activist. People telling me you're too young to do this. And I remember this was very effective when I used to be like under 18. I mean, I'm an adult right now. When I used to be 17 and 16, they would make you just do this whole paperwork and just, I mean, it's not just about like the paperwork, it's also about people telling you, you're too small, you're too young, you should be partying, you should be studying, you should be spending your weekend. My mom used to tell me this, you should be spending your weekend with your friend, not just attending meetings with the foundation or attending meetings about climate change. And it's not just about age discrimination, it's also about mental health, because as activists, we always get climate denial. I mean, it's crazy to see that we have a lot of data, we have enough scientific evidence, we have everything to prove climate change is there, and yet there are people who come to you and be like, oh, no, this doesn't exist, or climate change is not a priority, it's not serious, it's gonna happen afterwards. What we're seeing is just a natural heat wave. Oh, it's just a natural flood, it's just nature. And so as an activist, I got to see a lot of this. At some points, it discouraged me. I was very frustrated with what was going on. I was questioning my life. What am I doing? Why am I an activist with all of this? But I just wanted to say to all young people here, don't lose hope, don't give up, because no one is too small to make a difference, and never underestimate the impact you can have on the world, because even just like using a bottle, the recyclable bottle instead of plastic can have a huge impact, If you are a person and you go tell 2 or 3 people of your community about climate change, that could still make an impact. And so never underestimate the impact you can have in the world, and no one is too young, too small to make a difference.
Oh, sorry. Thank you, Manal, for this presentation. As the foundation offers you a platform to express, to be more involved about this issue, I would like to thank all the organizers of the Ocean Pavilion and for the occasion and the platform that they offer us to meet such people, to share our experience. We thank you so much in the name of the foundation. We thank also all the audience that took all the time to assist to our side events. Besides that, the foundation is also open for different partnership collaboration with national and international institutions. For those who are interested, I could leave you my emails, my contact, and it will be with great pleasure to study different potential area of collaboration in different items. I would like to thank Mr. Khalid Sharif for his presentation and his presence, and Manal also, and all the presence. Thank you for your attention, and hope to see you soon. Sorry? Yeah, of course, before ending, we open the floor if there is any question, clarification. Yeah?
Thank you for the nice presentation. Well done. My question goes to the data management part. We see those methods are too expensive. Is there any cheap method to do the data management? As we know, in plastic and the circularity economy, we need more data so that we can tackle it. And the second question goes to the foundation. What the member of foundation, they do have EPR, extended producer responsibility. Is it helping waste management as well as circularity economy? And the last one is recommendation. We need to involve more kids in ocean and waste management, as well as to be more activists so that we can solve the problem together. Thank you.
Can you just repeat the first question?
The data management method. You say remote sensing, and I'm asking if there's any cheap method, not expensive one, so that we can using in collection of data.
Okay, look, we in Institute for System and Robotics, we are first of all we are getting the data from the field, so which is the Portuguese coastal water using the robots. So we have robots, surface water, underwater monitoring. So we get in the data, so then we manage the data in the laboratory or also through our services. But also we are getting data from Sentinel-1, where we get also star data, and we have our own service management of data, so ISR. So there within the ISRIS project. And if you really visit the link of ASTRIS.gov.pt, you can really see the management of the data and the updated result that we reached till now. Thank you.
Thank you. I repeat. Yeah. The foundation has many members. The sixth foundation has many members. I was asking about the EPR, the extended producer responsibility. Do they have the EPR so that they can tackle the waste management as well as circularity economy?
Sorry, what do you mean by IPR?
EPR is extended producer responsibility. Is the way that the producer being responsible for the product they are producing and take care until the end of the product. So that is EPR.
Okay. So if I, okay, if I understand well, you are asking about the intervention of the foundation on the process of the recycling on big factories. Is that? Yeah. Well, actually, as I presented, the foundation is an NGO, so we have the scope of intervention. So our principle is subsidiarity, which means that there is some institution that have the role and the responsibility and eligibility to intervene. So the main objective of the foundation is not to make laws or intervene for something which is legal or illegal. The idea is raising awareness of the different stakeholders that taking part in this issue by giving them tools, building capacity, and explaining to them all the processes that they need to reduce all this production. I hope that
Hello. Thanks very much for a very good presentation. My name is Ilnas Monga. I work for IUCN, International Union for Conservation of Nature, based in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania, and I'm actually responsible for Marine Coastal Program in Tanzania. So it's a pleasure to be here. My question is for the technology now. Yeah, it's great that now we have advanced technology, that helps us to, assess and understand the situation or the impact of our, irresponsible practices to nature, including ocean. But then I have a feeling like, okay, you're doing some great stuff, maybe with a very good language, but then you are piloting in a very, I'll say you're coming from Portugal. So you're trying to, you implement this innovation in Portugal, assessing the impact of, plastic pollution. But then I think the serious problem is in Africa. So I was expecting maybe to have this kind of innovation from, move them from, from Europe and help Africa, because that's where there's a big problem. And we do not have these technologies. We do not have resources. And therefore, I will recommend and advise if through your, your channels of, resource mobilization, come and try this kind of innovation in Africa, particularly in Tanzania. It will make, it will be really, really useful. Relating to foundation, you are doing some great stuff, very good, but then is there any plan to scale a bit, to scale your programs to other countries? Because to be honest, for Africa, our economy is nature-based. We do not have a lot of industries. Our economy is actually driven by, natural capital, forest, the blue economy now, the ocean and all this stuff. So polluting and degrading this environment, it means we are collapsing our own economies. So if you have resources and then you are able to support your brothers in other countries in Africa, then that would be great. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the question or for the observation. So I would like to mention that Africa is present in the strategy of sustainable growth and also in order for the blue economy in the agenda of 2043-18 or something like that. I read about it. And there is really partnership between Africa and Europe in the frame of the Convention 5+5, where they are managing partnership in the frame of university and innovation. And what I tried today to present about the data within the frame of AFRI's project, you can understand that any experiment can start locally and can be extended regionally, then maybe globally. I cannot really study all the world through my model, but I can run my model with my data, and if it works, I can really share the model with you and at your cost. And if it works, we can have the service partnership collaboration. So thinking about locally is a bit is limited, but this kind of subject must start like that, with local then. I want also to mention that ASPER's project, it is for design and implementation of the strategy of the sustainable growth in Portugal, but the Portugal is a member of the Union for Mediterranean, where we are also practicing or trying to learn the models in Gulf of Trieste, in south of Italy, in the north of Tunisia. So we are open for any collaboration in the frame to train the models and see the effectiveness of this model. So thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your question. Actually, concerning the implementation and sharing experience with African countries, we have a convention and MOU with the United Nations Environmental Program. So recently we had a work meeting with the head office of Africa, of the Africa office of UNEP in Africa. So the idea, we are preparing an MOU in order to identify all the programs and different countries across Africa where our program could be implemented. When I say implemented, it's not implemented 100%. We're going to have an action plan, firstly by building capacity, sharing experience, and then after a next step, we hope that we can share all these 20 years of experience in different areas with the different stakeholders and brothers in Africa.
Thank you so much for the question. So I just wanted to mention that I am an ambassador of the African Economic Hub. There is Mr. Rock Foundation again. And it's a platform that is available for all Africans, no matter where you are in Africa, South Africa, Uganda, Chad, Togo. You can use this platform. So basically, it's a website. And once you use the website, create your account, and then you have access to all the resources. You have access to job opportunities. You not normal job opportunities, green job opportunities. We also have access to a climate academy that was just launched recently, in which we have knowledge and skills and capacity building. We also have access to like connecting with other African people. So you can see all the projects that are being led in Africa, their description, their goals, and the emails in case you want to collaborate and in case you want to network. And apart from that, like, these amazing platforms is so cool. But apart from the platform, we also launched a lot of programs. So basically last year there was an incubator program that was launched to collect like 10 projects from all over Africa that are very innovative, they're very sustainable, and sort of working on different SDGs, especially climate change. And now on the first week of December, they will be coming to Rabat and they will be trained, not just funded and trained, and they'll be prepared to sort of scale up their innovations in their own countries, also in the world. So yeah, that's very advanced.
Thank you very much. Fantastic presentation. My name is Matilda De Silva. I'm the founder and CEO of Ocean Purpose Project. We are a social enterprise based in Singapore. We convert ocean plastic into hydrogen. We also work with seaweed farmers to create seaweed curtains that absorb chemical pollution, and then we turn that into a new form of bioplastic. Now, a lot of the work that we do is very deep tech, or it's very heavy into marine biology research. I have a question for each of you from the different perspective of foundation, researcher, as well as youth. Sometimes at COP, right, there's a lot of talking and idea and opinion and emotion, but we don't have things that is concrete. So we are actually offering an opportunity for a, right now, collaboration. What do you think would be an immediate way for us to be able to partner or share resources or even create a test bed based from each of your viewpoints? A simple one thing that we could do to share the technology and the ideas and resources we have in Singapore at Ocean Purpose Project, and also be able to implement them in your respective foundation or data or even among the youth. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your question. Congratulate all the staff and work that they are working. Well, actually, I think I forgot to mention that in 2018, the foundation made what we call an International Center of Environmental Training. It's called SN2, International Center for Environmental Training. So it's a center of training which is monitored and managed by foundation. The aim of this center is to offer a platform of different stakeholders, national and international, and also a platform for youth to explore concretely some action. In response to your question, I think the easy way is to have a debrief meeting in order to exchange our contact, and then we can schedule in order to have kind of side events. We can share our own experience. We can bring all your experts, and we have 1 or 2 days that we can organize in this area, which is dedicated. It's with a great pleasure to initiate collaboration with different entities. So I will
Thank you. I think like something that certain projects on experience, I was able to the website, to the platform, discover a lot of meetings in Africa, but I was not able to discover here. And if I did earlier on, I would super interested in doing. Probably I would have majored like you did in research, but I'm not. I'm majoring in something else. But I think for me, it's the vision of to have a platform, a unified platform that everyone can integrate. As I said earlier, like everyone is doing something else. We're not in the
partnerships. So I think this is the main goal of everyone here, to make this working, to make contacts. I would be really happy to bit more details about your targets in your study, because I feel it's like more clinical, more like laboratory work about using plastic waste. And then we can really have an idea exactly what is the outcome of the aim of the project. As my colleague said, like SAMI, the foundation, which is a very famous in North Africa, working in protection of the coastal water monitoring and youth also. So you feel welcome to share contacts, and of course we are working with different people around the world. So the world is very small. We can publish articles, we can share technology, and you can arrange also visit to our laboratories. Thank you.
Okay. So thank you to our speakers. Thank you for the organizer for offering such a beautiful, interesting platform. Thank you for the audience, for their presence, for the time, and we hope seeing you again. Well, thank you. Yeah, if you don't mind, we would like to have a picture with you, with the presence, if there's no problem.